What's going on, guys? This is Shady of Lightning back with Digimon Adventure Tri Symbiosis episode 20 review. I would say 2/3 of this episode was mixed with lightheartedness and Meiko's depression, whilst the final third finally had some much needed action. At the start of the episode, the Digidestined are discussing the true purpose of Meikomon in that she was only created to cause human extinction, which is what Yggdrasil wanted. And at the rate that Meikomon is going, she's on her way on succeeding on that mission. But the relationship between homeostasis and Yggdrasil and their goals are the most important aspect in this episode. The Digidestined are theorizing that it may have been Yggdrasil who wanted to remove them from the digital world, which makes sense because from what we know so far, Yggdrasil is one of the main villains in this series, even though we haven't seen him yet unless he is the evil Genii, which means he was the one making all those mountains disappear. If that was him, then he's crazy overpowered. We're talking beyond mega level here. The next 10 minutes are just the Digidestined telling scary stories to each other. The Digimon, being the gullible little creatures that they are, will believe anything, all the scary stories as well, and it shows in their facial expressions. And of course, Agumon is living in his own little bubble. But speaking of Agumon, I think he may have been my favorite character in this episode. Throughout this entire movie so far, all the Digidestined are trying to do is cheer up Meiko, but none of them have succeeded. Even Tai ended up shouting at Meikomon because he just doesn't know what to say anymore. Oh, and it turned out that the Digimon are shippers as well, with Gambomon and Biomon wanting to report back to Matt and Sora. The writers are just loving putting this in. Every time they have a chance to reference the shipping, they will put it in. But anyways, back to Agumon. He was the only one out of the entire group that managed to cheer up Meiko with his iconic "Are you hungry?" catchphrase. Kinda reminds me a bit of Kid Goku in Dragon Ball, that childlike innocence that can bring a smile to anyone's face. Tai says something that I have been saying this entire series. He says, if I could have stayed as a kid and grew up like that kid. I couldn't agree more with you, Tai, because I've been saying that ever since the first movie, and you yourself had admitted now that you are not as fearless as you once were. Who knows, maybe in the final movie you will become the old Tai. Who knows? But now we get to the action part of this episode. We see all the partner Digimon digivolving into their ultimate forms, and finally there's a split screen, so we don't have to waste time in the digivolving sequence like we did in the last movie. Just stupid padding, man. But in the last quarter of this episode, during all the action, Meikomon is crying out, and as I'm watching this, even before Meiko even says Meikomon is crying out, we as the viewer can see it for ourselves that she is trying to force all the other Digimon away. She's clearly still tormented and scarred for whatever happened in that research lab. But then Jesmon came and Meikomon didn't hold back. And I believe she digivolved into a mega form. I can't lie, guys, it's quite ugly. I preferred the previous form with the giant claws. It kinda reminds me of Diaboromon with those claws. But yeah, she's not holding back against Jesmon, who was apparently sent by homeostasis. The Digidestined are confused about who their real enemy is, and rightfully so. There's this massive grey area with homeostasis and Yggdrasil. I'm thinking that there is no homeostasis and Yggdrasil. I think these two beings are one in the same, and the mixed messages that they have been sending out is just to keep the Digidestined from realizing that there's only one villain and not two, and this one villain could may in fact be evil Genii. Anyways, that's my thoughts on this episode. Not much happened in this episode, but guys, let me know in the comments down below on what you think of this movie so far. 3/4 of the film have finished. What do you think about it? Do you think it's average? Do you think it's solid? Do you think it's bad? Let me know in the comments down below, and care for nothing.